Right now on WLKY, devastation in Kentucky.
It's like a bomb went off, and there's no preparing you mentally of what you see.
Devastation in Kentucky. The death toll continues to rise after tornadoes level homes and businesses, leaving entire communities in ruin.
I want them to know that everybody is living through horror right now. It's horrible. Horrible.
Rescues have turned into recovery efforts. Those who can help are sifting through the debris to salvage family memories for survivors.
These people don't have a home. These children don't have parents. You know, I mean, they've lost everything. Right here at Christmas, everything.
Tonight, the Commonwealth is coming together, unifying as one to help families recover and communities rebuild. Good evening. I'm Vicki Dorch.
And I'm Jennifer Bayless. As search and recovery takes place across Western Kentucky, support is pouring in.
Here's where everything stands right now. There are 74 storm-related deaths, but that number is expected to go up. 109 people are unaccounted for, but the governor also expects that number to be higher as well. 448 Kentucky National Guardsmen are in the field, with 95 of those doing fatality searches.
And if you are looking for ways to help, we are hosting a Red Cross phone bank right now. We have volunteers standing by to take your calls. The number is 893-3232. We have already raised nearly $20,000. The lines will be open throughout our show tonight. And we begin with some good news, just breaking from Mayfield, one of the hardest hit areas.
WLKY's Mark Vanderhoff is live near the Candle Factory plant with late breaking news. Mark, what's happening there right now?
Boy, Vicki, Jennifer, I can tell you that so many people have been waiting for some news from the Candle Factory. Would they be pulling out more victims, or would there be some kind of miracle? And you know, in a way, this is kind of a miracle. And I can tell you it is great news for some families out there who were missing some loved ones. And it's also good news for a lot of these workers who were hoping to pull out some survivors, but really feared they were going to be pulling out some bodies. Jody Myman, the head of the Louisville Emergency Management Agency, made the announcement just 1 hour ago. He is the incident commander at the site, and behind him, workers continued operating a crane and other heavy equipment. But there were no longer search and rescue workers or cadaver dogs among the rubble. Progress cleaning up today has been remarkable. Debris is being moved to a field next door to be hauled off. This news brought a major shift to a 3-day effort.
Earlier, you saw the crane that was operating. They were able to move a lot of the steel, and a lot of the entire roof has been removed from this building and taken down to the temporary site. So, you know, with the dogs, again, both live and human remain dogs that have been throughout the building, and through voids, along with, again, human interaction, their carriers, they've been in there. We've also had void rescue teams that have been going throughout the building in those voids and searching and things like that. And again, that builds that high level of confidence.
You know, Vicki, Jennifer, it has really been heartening to see all the search and rescue workers coming from all over the state and all over the country. And having been a reporter in Louisville so long, I recognized a lot of these people who came from the metro area and surrounding counties. And, you know, they are no doubt exhausted. So hopefully they are going to get a good sleep tonight. And I can also tell you that this is good news for another reason. It now frees up these search and rescue teams for other parts of Mayfield where they are badly needed. Remember, there are a lot of residential areas that have been reduced to rubble, and they are going to need people to go through many of those houses. Live in Mayfield, Mark Vanderhoff, WLKY News.
Thank you, Mark. So the good news there, the 8 missing employees of its Candle Factory are now accounted for. Today marks the 3rd day, though, without power in Mayfield as crews from across Kentucky and the country work to restore the power grid.
As Lauren Adams reports, even without power, some are staying put.
That's right. These folks have sifted through the rubble and saved what they can. But for now, they're getting by thanks to propane stoves and generators. Just days after a tornado touched down in Mayfield, many of these damaged homes have been deserted. But there are some people trying to rebuild and others still wondering what to do. David Bryan doesn't have power. No one does, but he has a propane stove. He and his wife were sheltering in a closet when the tornado hit their Oak Street home late Friday night.
Man, I'm just thinking, oh dear God, don't let the roof blow off of this thing, because we'll be gone.
But it did, and the windows were blown out too. Still, he and his wife are staying put, refusing to leave their home.
I'm okay right now. So the biggest inconvenience is just not having power or TV or anything.
And there's this, using a ladder to reach his second-floor apartment. The stairs were destroyed, so too was part of his roof. Still, he's afraid to leave.
I don't want a looter or somebody to come by and rip me off.
There's no timeline yet on just how soon crews will be able to repair miles and miles of down power lines. But David Bryan and his wife are trying to remain strong in the face of uncertainty.
I just said it's going to be okay. It's going to be okay. We're going to be all right. We'll make it. Don't worry about it. We're going to be okay.
And while we did come across quite a few people choosing to stay put, we do know that teams of volunteers and emergency responders went door to door, clearing every single house, making sure that everyone was safe and everyone who wanted to go to a shelter had that option. Reporting in Mayfield tonight, I'm Lauren Adams, WLKY News.
All right, thank you, Lauren. Another hard-hit area is Bowling Green. Today, city leaders confirmed 15 people in that city have now died.
Gladys Batista is live in Bowling Green, where we learned the ages and identities of those victims. Gladys, what is the situation like there now?
Well, Vicki, Jennifer, search and recovery crews have finished their third day of looking. And while officials will not say how many people are still unaccounted for, they do tell me that 158 people from 18 agencies are out here looking for those still missing. But of course, 15 people are now confirmed dead here in Bowling Green, among those children. And it's the loss of those young lives that are really driving home the magnitude of the devastation and the heartache.
Last time I see them, they give me a high five when I get on the bus every day. Yeah.
It's the small things you never think about until times like this.
It's like a bomb went off, and there's no preparing you mentally of what you see. Cars and refrigerators. I just seen a refrigerator torn in half. Little shoes.
Bikes, a teddy bear, a soccer ball. Little belongings that give us a glimpse into the little lives who called this Bowling Green neighborhood home. These Warren County school bus drivers saw them every day.
How will I help them know where their houses are or where their houses were?
The neighborhood of Jennings Creek is now unrecognizable. Destruction and devastation of the EF3 tornado that ripped through has many of those who lived here stunned, trying to salvage what they can.
We're still looking the green card and social security card.
For her green card?
Yeah, for the whole family, green card and social security card, and some necklace.
But some of what the tornado took is what we can never get back.
You know, when these children go back to school, you're going to have to explain why so-and-so's not in the classroom anymore, why they're not here.
Among the 15 people who lost their lives, 7 are children, and many are part of the same family.
But for a lot of their parents, I mean, they had no idea what was coming. And that's just the most devastating part, is that you couldn't help them in any other way.
The heartbreak here, shattering families and an entire community. The trauma is proving difficult for adults, but also for the children who survived and cannot yet put what they feel into words.
They're very shell-shocked. A lot of our students, as you know, most people know, are migrant refugee students, and a lot of them didn't even know what a tornado was. So for them to have to experience this in themselves was just devastating for them.
And as search and recovery crews continue to look for those still missing, those here to lend a helping hand feel the weight of being among those spared.
Because it could have been me. The tornado could have come through where I lived. It could have been looking for my child.
And Vicki, Jennifer, one of the most heartbreaking things that people say really surrounds this entire situation is that this community is a community of migrants. They're a community of refugees. Many of the parents in this community do not speak English. So as they were really saying that those kids really had no idea what was going on, neither did the parents. The only thing that they said was that these children maybe did tornado drills at school, but that they likely didn't even know what was about to happen. Now, search and recovery crews are expected to be out again, continuing to look for those who are still unaccounted for at 8 a.m. Of course, we will continue to keep you updated from everything going on here in Bowling Green. For now, live in Bowling Green, Gladys Bautista, WLKY News.
Such a tough situation there, Gladys. Thank you. And hundreds of volunteers have made their way to Dawson Springs, Kentucky to help after a tornado ripped through that small town.
At least 13 people are confirmed dead. According to the police chief, more than 100 are still unaccounted for there. WLKY Shaquille Lord takes us through how volunteers are helping people during their tough times.
Tornadoes are just unpredictable in what they destroy.
On Industrial Road Park sits what remains of 2 storage facilities, piles of debris and prized possessions mostly destroyed. Clint Rowe, a volunteer with Sheepdog Impact Assistance, is one of the many who are volunteering their time in Dawson Springs to help those in any way possible.
We got about 100 volunteers that's coming. We'll be here for 10 to 14 days.
The out-of-state organization sends volunteers, mostly first responders and veterans, to towns who have been hit hard after natural disasters. In this case, Rose says they will be helping people find their belongings at this storage site.
We just do what we can. You know, you never know when you come to one of these exactly what you're going to need.
A few hours after this tornado made its way through this area, Dawson Springs High School opened up its doors for shelter and for donations.
We knew that this would be where folks would be coming to for help and other things.
In less than 72 hours, the gym is packed with cases of water. There are rows of donated clothes and an auditorium mostly filled up with perishable items.
Just about anything you can name, we've got it here to the point that we're overrun.
Waylon says they've had to ask people to stop donating to this location, instead sending them to another site with more room. He says all in all, he's not surprised by the support.
This is what makes us Kentucky. This is what makes us what we are.
Shaquille Lord, WLKY News.
And instead of bringing donations to Dawson Springs High School, people are asked to take those donations to the Manufacturer Supply Company in Madisonville.
And if you are looking for a way to help, now is the time. Every little bit helps. We have volunteers with the American Red Cross here answering the phone. So give us a call, 893-3232. Every little bit helps. The lines will be open until 9 o'clock tonight. You can hear them ringing. Keep them ringing. Let's make those lines ring. You can also donate online. We have a link to the donation site on WLKY.com and, of course, on our mobile app. We'll be back after this break.